So the big news today is that Joe Biden has pardoned Hunter Biden. And the left is doing what the left always does. A lot of hand-wringing and a lot of self-flagellation. And to be honest with you, it's once again really sad to watch the left try to maintain the moral high ground, all while the right just gives them more reasons to hate themselves. And if you ask me, I think it's a good thing that Joe Biden pardoned his son. I would have done it for my son. You would have done it for years. And you know what I got to say to all the people on the right? They're like, how dare he? Fuck him, Joe. Fuck him.
President Biden and his staff saying repeatedly he would not pardon his son Hunter. Over the holiday weekend, he did just that, granting Hunter a full and unconditional pardon. In his announcement, the president called his son's prosecution, quote, selective and unfair, and said his political opponents in Congress instigated and imposed political pressure on the prosecution to attack him.
So before we get into the massive hypocrisy on the right of how now all of a sudden they care about who gets pardoned or how nepotism is used within the government, let's talk a little bit about what Hunter Biden was actually charged with. So Hunter Biden was charged with lying on a form. He was charged with lying to an arms dealer and illegally possessing a firearm. All three of these charges are related to him checking a box that said that he was not currently a drug addict while purchasing the gun. Now, this is something that, for the most part, people rarely get brought up on felony charges unless they're doing it as a straw purchaser or the gun itself is used in the committing of a crime. So let me get this straight. A group of Republicans that believe that the Second Amendment shall not be infringed also believe that a checkbox on a form that says, I don't believe that I'm a drug addict right now, is not infringing on your rights. And let's not forget, Hunter Biden owned this gun for 11 days before he got rid of it. He did not commit a crime with it. He did not harm anybody. He literally checked a box that said he wasn't a drug addict during a time that he quite possibly did not think he was a drug addict. But obviously, this is just too much for the right to take. This injustice of a man pardoning a family member. Donald Trump has never done something like that. It's not like Donald Trump has ever pardoned like everybody that he's ever worked with that has been convicted of a crime. You know, like Michael Flynn or Roger Stone or Jared Kushner's father. But once again, the right has convinced the left they should be the parent in the room. And once again, the left is falling for it.
The second major reversal in 6 months that will have damaging consequences on the party that he leads and turning over to somebody else. And so I think it's unfortunately an unnecessary slap at his legacy, another one.
Has this guy had his head buried in the sand? Has he been watching what Donald Trump has been doing for the past 8 years? One of the biggest issues with the left right now is that they continue to keep this opinion that if they just do the right thing, people will follow along. Newsflash, asshole! They just lost an election by trying to do the right thing. It's time for the tolerant left to recognize there is no way that they are ever going to drag conservatives out of their conservative bubble over to the Democratic side to get them to vote for them by fucking over the only people in your party that actually give a shit about you. Donald Trump literally was held liable for sexual abuse. Donald Trump was literally convicted by 12 New Yorkers for covering up election lies to help influence the election while his wife sat home with her 2-month-old and he had sex with a porn star. Donald Trump can say, he doesn't need your votes. Donald Trump can say, I don't know anything about Project 2025. He can say all of these things, and the right just stands back and stands by. But the left, if Joe Biden, for the love of Christ, were to pardon his son of a conviction that was absolutely ridiculous and completely politically motivated, will castigate Joe Biden for doing that. It's a pox upon his family. It is a shadow, a stain that he will never outlive. Look, at this point, people are tired of hearing you talk about how much better you are than them. And you know what? For once, Joe Biden said, you know what? We aren't. I'm pardoning my son. fuck them. But this wasn't the only dipshit that had something to say about this. Other Democrats just had to jump in and virtue signal. So that way, right-wing Republicans that will never fucking vote for them would feel like they were a good person?
President Biden's decision to pardon his son is sending shockwaves through Washington, bringing reactions from both sides of the aisle, many critical of Biden. But some experts say the move may have opened a Pandora's box, as the president-elect and others are on the right are now indicating similar pardons may be granted to people convicted in the January 6th, 2021 attack on the Capitol when Trump takes office next month.
Oh my God, guys. Now they're talking about pardoning January 6 people. They were never talking about that before, only for the last fucking 4 years. People on the left cannot possibly be this stupid. The tolerant left needs to grow a pair of fucking balls. Let's be honest. If you're pearl clutching now about them pardoning the January 6 people, then you haven't been paying attention. They've been talking about this since they got put in prison. Marjorie Taylor Greene hasn't shut the fuck up about it. You really think that Joe Biden pardoning his son was the catalyst for Donald Trump deciding that he was gonna pardon the January 6 people? If you believe that, I have beachfront property in Arizona I would like to sell you. But once again, it's not even the right that's doing this. The right just feeds the bullshit to the left, and the left just consumes it and regurgitates it in their own party. They just flagellate and tell everybody about how sorry they are for the people in their party that have done the bad thing. That's not us. It doesn't represent us. We're so much better than that. Meanwhile, the right's got their dick in the punch bowl, and they're yelling for somebody to get a fucking camera. So let's take a look at a couple of the things that Democrats had to say about Joe Biden pardoning his son. Senator Pete Welch said, President Biden's pardon of his son Hunter is, as the action of a loving father, understandable, but as the action of our nation's chief executive, unwise. Senator Gary Peters posted that the pardon was wrong, while Senator Michael Bennet of Colorado said it puts personal interests ahead of duty and further erodes Americans' faith that the justice system is fair and equal for all. I think that might have went out the window a while ago. You know, when a certain former president was convicted on 34 felonies and then they just disappeared. Or maybe it was after he took home a bunch of classified documents and stored them in his bathroom and just let anybody handle nuclear secrets. Or maybe it was when he allegedly tried to overturn a fair and legitimate election. Or maybe it was when he was put on trial for racketeering and all of those trials went away. I don't know which one of those trials that happened was the one that really just defeated the entire fucking country's faith in any type of justice for white-collar crimes. But I can tell you this, it's not that they fucking pardoned Hunter Biden for checking a box. Sorry, guys, that's not going to be the one for me. I'm going to be honest with you. I think that Joe Biden should go even further. I think Joe Biden should pardon everyone that had that box checked and got put in prison for it. Why stop there, Joe? I heard experts say that they think that Joe Biden should pardon all of the people that were part of the January 6th committee, that he should pardon anybody else that possibly Donald Trump may go after, because the type of pardon that Hunter Biden got doesn't allow Donald Trump and Kash Patel and his other cronies to go any further and prosecute them for any crime that they feel that they may have committed. I'm all for it. Do it, Joe. Do it. And while you're at it, Joe, do a couple more. Because I'll tell you this, with Donald Trump in office, if you think he's going to be shy, if you think he's going to let people tell him what he shouldn't do, if you think that he's going to let his own party tell him that what he's doing is bad, you're a moron. Let me just say this. I am not part of the tolerant left. Never have been, never will be. I don't care if people on the left like what I say, and I don't care if people on the right like what I say. I say what I say because I say what I mean. All right, guys. Thanks for being here. And remember, I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. Hope to see you next time. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, please like and subscribe and hit that notification bell. And check out that video on the screen now.